10,000 rental reductions approved. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I have my stein of coffee, and I thought we'd have a look at this article from realestate.com.au regarding, originally prepared by the Herald Sun, regarding the 10,000 approved rental reductions for tenants in Victoria alone. Now, if you are a owner of investment property renting out to tenants, do you think the fact that this new element of risk will dampen your enthusiasm for investing in property? Was it completely expected? It's on a massive scale, guys. It's on a massive scale. There's no real historical precedent for that in our living memory. That you've got, in some instances, you will have tenants who are earning more money than their landlords, and they're probably smarter. Actually, they're probably just renting instead of locking everything up into an investment property or into a house, and they're getting a discount. We've seen the stories on ABC about the brilliant rent investors who can't even cop up another $100 to keep his mortgage going for his investment property. And of course, the ABC, rather than explain maybe he should learn some basic financial literacy skills, or maybe sell some of his useless goods to cover that expense, calls on the government to step in. I'm starting to see a little bit of a trend there in the ABC. It's almost like they've got a bias or an agenda. It must just be something I'm imagining, everyone, mustn't it? So let's go through this. About 10,000 rent reduction agreements have been registered with Consumer Affairs Victoria as a result of the state government's $500 million pandemic rental relief package, an inquiry has heard. $500 million for Victoria. Renters were granted an average discount of 31% from these registered agreements, Tenants Victoria Chief Executive Jennifer Beveridge told a parliamentary inquiry into the government's response to the pandemic on Wednesday. 31%. And yet we're hearing other property spookers discuss the advantages or the good returns on property here in Australia. 31% cut to your rent. I mean, I don't blame people taking advantage of it. This is the thing. Whenever the government steps into the market, they will artificially manipulate what the market response should be. And people are generally going to take advantage of the opportunities put before them. Not everyone will, on moral grounds, say, no, I'm not going to accept this, or I'm not going to partake in this. Most people won't. That's why you have swing voters deciding elections. I was just watching another piece, actually, I think a Dave Ramsey episode he put up today, where people are calling in going, I can't get, my workers aren't turning up. Because over there they're getting the unemployment, then they're getting another bonus. They're just not turning up to work. This is the problem when you have all of these schemes and mechanisms designed to help people. It disrupts the market, and the market people respond to that. Sometimes it's better just to step back and let things adjust. Ms. Beveridge also noted CAV had received about 20,000 calls from people inquiring about rent reductions. Just see the image this paints, where you contact the state about getting a reduction on your rent, a privately owned property, where the state has a say over it. Just think about that, another element of sovereign risk there. How centrally controlled is our economy, everyone? Do people honestly think we're in a complete free market? The fact that they've even locked us down to this extent. How will it be remembered in the future, guys? Frankly, I know all the people that just don't care. They don't care if they get sick or not. It's part of life. I honestly think it'll be interesting to see the correlation between BMI and other health factors that lead to this. Because, frankly, I think there's other health issues that are much more concerning around the world. Just the number of people that are pre-diabetic, that's going to kill a lot of people. That's going to put a strain on our healthcare And yet they aren't really addressing that, are they? If anything, it's being encouraged by the reduced fat diet that the idiots keep pushing forward. Anyway, back to this. I'm going off on a rant again, like always. About 2,000 matters have gone through informal mediation, while 350 odd more had been referred for formal dispute resolution. Miss Beveridge told the Victorian Parliament's Public Accounts and Estimates Committee the state government had crafted what we believe is the best support package for renters in Australia. And see, the governments just push and push and push for property. You see the Property Council lobbying for a $50,000 handout, for more migration, lowering the migration standard to get more people here, just to keep the property bubble going, because the states are addicted to their stamp duty. They're addicted to their money. And then people, they invest, because Australia's property mad. They use negative gearing to minimize their tax, because we're taxed to the hilt, and I can't blame people. So then the government can hand out more money, get into more debt, tax us more, and continue it. Maybe that's it. It's all a big plan just to keep the machine going. To keep the machine. We're too far along the roller coaster ride. We can't stop the ride anymore, guys. It includes a 6-month moratorium on evictions and rental increases for tenants hit financially by the pandemic, and offers land tax discounts and deferrals for landlords who agree to reduce rent. The government also introduced an $80 million rental assistance fund for tenants in severe rental stress, with the payments to go directly to the landlords. So, there you go. So the state is paying rent for landlords. I mean, here's the thing. We're seeing this more and more. Just simply, we don't have a culture where people are prepared enough for these tough times. That's what needs to come out of all of this. All of this, the lesson needs to be learned that people need to prepare for tough times. And I'm not seeing it mentioned anywhere in any of these articles that we're reading. Particularly nothing from the ABC. Anything you look there, it's always painting a particular narrative of, an evil corporation, a bad vote, anyway. But it's always, you can't have individual agency. We can't have people being individuals and preparing for their tough times in their life. And I know there are people that are going to suffer through this, that are going to have some hard times, but you need to be resilient and you need to learn from it, so it's less stressful the next time it happens. Because this is a lesson for a generation, guys. This is the recession that a generation is going to get a dose of reality on. Ms. Beveridge said the progressive, ensured the burden caused by the pandemic was shared between tenants and landlords by encouraging good faith from the latter. Approaching CAV for support during rental reduction negotiations has also proved to be fruitful for tenants, TV found. But she said the time it took for the package to be formalised and a drafting error that had incorrectly stated tenants could only vacate their homes in special circumstances during the pandemic had resulted in confusion and panic. The latter had since been corrected. Yes, that was doing the rounds, wasn't it? You couldn't leave. This is the thing, guys. Drafting errors by bureaucrats can affect our day-to-day lives. Do you think people will start to question how much authority we hand over to these government leaders? You've got to realize now how big our government is and how detached it is from reality. We're not living in a small community where people know each other. The Simpsons meme of the Prime Minister sitting in a lake with a tyre and a beer, it's long past. Ms. Beveridge also urged the Victorian government to consider how it would continue to support vulnerable tenants after these emergency measures ended in September. We're going to see more and more of this, everyone. We're going to see calls for UBI, for increased support payments, for increased rental payments. There's going to be a greater push for more growth of a socialist government, for more government intervention in our economy. You've got two schools of thought here. You've got people that argue for a more interventionist approach, and you've got people arguing for a hands-off approach. I would argue for a hands-off approach, for government stepping back, for scaling back government, for limiting the role and influence government can have on our lives. But that doesn't seem to be the popular approach these days. Because big papa government, he take care of me. I don't need to save money. I don't need to prepare for tough times. Can't have that, can we? Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about all this. Do you think it's fair that the state is stepping in? I mean, sensible landlords will take care of their tenants. There's going to be an oversupply of stock on the market. So if you want to keep your house or apartment tenanted, especially apartment, you're going to take care of them. You don't need the bloody government to do it for you. If someone's dumb enough not to, well, the tenant's going to leave, and that landlord is going to cop it. But that's the market interfering. How many bureaucrats wouldn't we employ if we left it up to these things? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Later today, we'll be looking at another video about super being gambled away. Stick around for that one. If you want to support us, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us via our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay or Independent Reserve and Kucoin. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, and support us via PayPal. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.